We've been fighting a long time, and we have all lost so very much, so many loved ones gone. But you are not alone. There are pockets of resistance all around the planet. We are at the brink. You have no idea how important you are. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Ave Maria Stella, Dei Mater Alma, atque semper Virgo, Felix Steli porta.
Summensi lodame, Gabrieli sore, fundados in pace, mutans nomen
And welcome everybody, Steve with Sense of Fidelity. I'm coming at you with Eduardo Verástegui.
Close, very close.
Darn it.
Verástegui.
My apologies. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa.
You're being forgiven.
Welcome. If everybody doesn't recognize already, he was Flores in the movie Greater Glory. He's coming with an idea to get everyone on the planet to join in something very special for this time of the year. What is this idea you have, Eduardo?
Well, thank you, first of all, for this opportunity and for allowing me to, say hello to all your audience. And for those who doesn't know me, my name is Eduardo Verástegui. I'm from a very small town, northern Mexico, in the state of Tamaulipas. That's where I grew up. And I grew up, Catholic, like most of Mexicans, but I was not a practicing Catholic because I didn't know my faith very well. And how can you love what you don't know, right? Mm-hmm. And I knew, of course, a few prayers. I used to go to Mass once a year, and I thought I was a good Catholic because I was going to Mass once a year, right? To thank God for the entire year. But governed by ignorance, you start really acting according to the teachings of the world. It's like a mix of, a little bit of faith with a lot of the world all together, and then boom, and then you're out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
And there was me, for many years until I started as a singer first, singing in a boy band when I was 18 years old, pop music, and then
NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, yeah.
kind of that, and so I'm going to give you all these answers just to so the idea that I want to share with you will make more sense at the end. So then I started doing soap operas in Mexico. If you want to make a living as an actor back in the days, you didn't have so many options like today. Back in the days, you either do soap operas or soap operas, and I was stuck on that for another 3 years. Then I moved to Miami, and then I left the acting behind, went back to music again, but now as a solo artist. And I was flying all over Latin America, promoting my music. And then one day I was flying from Miami to Los Angeles. And on that flight, I met this person who happens to be the VP of casting for 20th Century Fox. Make a long story short, he invited me to do an audition for a film. And I told him that my English was really, really bad. I knew how to count 1 to 10, gallina chicken, my car is red, things like that. In Miami, everybody speaks Spanish. So I was... my English was really, really bad. And he said, don't worry, 90% of that film, you are going to be sleeping. I think you can do that. So, okay, I did the audition, got the part, moved to LA, immersed myself in the language for like a year, didn't speak Spanish with anybody. So I can start forcing myself to start thinking in English. I was 28. And then, so I hired this wonderful lady who was she was helping me with my action production. So I can, so people can understand what I'm saying when I'm talking English. And this lady changed my life because she started using the Socratic method, asking me questions like, for example, what is the purpose of your life, Eduardo? What do you want to gain in your life? Who is God in your life? How are you using your talents? And many, many questions like this, Eduardo, there's more than 60 million, Hispanics, most of them Mexicans here in the United States. And it's very sad that many people think that your community, it's a threat to the democracy of this country because they think that you guys are what we see in film and television, all the negative stereotype, where very few times you see Latinos having the opportunity of being heroes, but not like Superman or Spider-Man, but the everyday hero, the man who, faithful to his wife, loyal to his friends, a man of God, a real hero.
Virtuous.
Women. Exactly, women. We see women, Latina women, reduced as objects, as sex symbols, and you have sisters. So who are your sisters? Well, I mean, they're the heart of the family. They're full of wisdom. They're smart. They're beautiful. So let me ask you a question: are you part of the problem or part of the solution? And when I look back to see all the projects that I was involved, I was part of the problem, and I didn't know how much media influenced how people think. And right there at that moment, I made a promise to God, to my parents, that I will never use my talents again to do anything that will offend my faith, my family, or my Latino culture. And after I made a promise, I ended up not working for 4 years because every single offer that I got was exactly about the things that I promised I would never do. So I had to turn them down for literally 4 years. And that's when I realized, you know what? I thought I had everything in one hand before, but in the other hand, I had nothing. I was very empty. Later on, when I made this promise, I lost everything, but I found everything that really matters in life. I understood what Mother Teresa said when she said, we are not called to be successful. We are called to be faithful to God. That is our success. Now, if by being faithful to God, success comes, it's a blessing. Thanks be to God. Let's use that success to make a difference in the world. But if it doesn't come, don't compromise your faith and your values. And that for me was freedom. It was like, because, we're always struggling on how can you be Catholic in the world and successful? And seems like it's like impossible. Well, you started wrong. First of all, you're not called to be successful. That is not the purpose of our lives. And I didn't know that for many years. That's why I was lost. And so finally, when you understand what is the purpose of your life, which is to know and to love and to serve Jesus Christ, to be a saint, we're all called to be saints. Then when you know exactly what is, what's your purpose, then everything else started coming together beautiful. So then, and then that's when I met Leo Severino and Alejandro Monteverde in 2004. And I realized that as an actor, I don't have the power to control the message, of a movie. I'm just an actor. I'm going to submit to whoever wrote the script, and I'm just going to play a character. And but if you become a producer, you can have the power to control the message. So we were led to open a production company with the mission and the goal of making films that will have the potential not only to entertain, but hopefully to make a difference in people's lives. The first film that we produced was Bella, a pro-life film that this little film changed the life of so many people, including our own lives. And most important thing of this movie is not all the awards that won, like the Toronto Film Festival, People's Choice Award in 2006. The best part of Bella is all the emails and letters and and messages that we received till today of young women who were pregnant and scheduled to have an abortion. And after seeing the movie Bella, by the grace of God, changed their mind and kept their babies. Thousands of babies are alive, thanks be to God, because of this movie. After that, we produced Little Boy, which has a beautiful message of, if we have the faith the size of a mustard seed, we can move a mountain. That's like the center message of the entire movie, right? It talks about many other things, but that's like faith moved mountains. That's the main goal of this movie, Little Boy. After that, then we just finished our latest movie that will come out hopefully at the end of the year in digital platforms, called Sound of Freedom. It's the life of Tim Ballard, and it's a true story, powerful true story, and of this amazing American hero who used to work at Homeland Security. And after he quit working with the government, he put together an amazing dream team of the best ex-Navy SEALs and CIA agents, and they travel around the world undercover, rescuing children that are kidnapped for sexual exploitation. They save thousands of children, and we produced their first rescue mission. That's what the film is about. They went to Cartagena, Colombia, like 6-7 years ago, and that was their first rescue mission without the help of the government. They were, for the first time now, they were alone, just freelance. and they rescue many children. And at the end, they were crying, these kids, and they were like celebrating their freedom. They were singing. It was like this beautiful sound of freedom. That's why the movie is called Sound of Freedom. It will come out soon. Powerful film. And my hope with this film is that that not only will raise awareness, but will help in the liberation of millions of children that are kidnapped around the world by turning the movie into a global movement, along with many other organizations that are fighting to end this nightmare, child trafficking. So when all this answered to tell you that I was I was traveling all over Mexico and the US, preparing the launching of Sound of Freedom. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, I'm in Mexico, and then I knew what was going on, just like everyone else, about the COVID-19, but it was like I was not paying attention too much. It was like around February. I didn't know that it was going to be very serious eventually, until when I saw the news that Italy closed their borders. Mm-hmm. I said, oh my gosh, this is serious. And the first week, it was very hard because, what should I do? Should I go with my parents, northern Mexico? But, they're on the target is the third age. So you were hearing from all over the news, like the target of this, of COVID-19 is adults on la tercera edad. I don't know how do you say tercera edad in English, third age? No.
I can't think right now.
Older than 70?
Yeah, you just young adults.
All adults.
Young adults, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I said, I don't want to be with my parents because maybe I've been traveling. What if I have it already? I don't want to expose them, So if I go to Miami to see my sisters or Los Angeles, they have kids. I don't want to put them into risk either. So I'm going to stay here alone in Mexico City. And that's what I did. First 2 weeks, really going crazy. What should I do? How am I going to work now? I was used to travel and to move a lot, because of the movies. And now I'm like locked down like everyone else. And that's when the whole thing started, which it's the whole purpose of me sharing you something very powerful that I need your help and your prayers as well, so we can achieve this goal, which is this. After you realize that you have a place and food and a place to sleep and clothes and everything, well, thanks be to God, I'm grateful for all this work and to have all this. But hold on a second. The majority of people, especially in Mexico, if they receive an order to stay home, don't work, they live by day. They don't have savings, no credit cards, no social media, no communication. 5, 7, 8 people living in one home. Matter of time, there is no food in their table. And when you focus on yourself and it's all about me and I'm okay, so thank God I have food. It doesn't work like that, as you know. We're one body, and if one member of the body is in pain, the entire body suffers. So I found Caritas, which is an amazing Catholic organization, and through our movement, Viva Mexico, we partnered and we started this campaign called Dona Despensas. Dona Despensas means donate a box of the basic food that you need for the entire month. Milk and rice and vegetables, whatever you need so you can survive for a month. We started working with them. So far, more than 60,000 we have delivered to families in need that lost everything, but at least they have food, because the whole goal here is we can't allow one table in Mexico without a bread. And after that, I said, what else I can do? And, I was going to mass every day, digital, through internet, like everyone else, receiving spiritual communion, praying my rosary every day. But then I thought, what if it was March 22nd? I said, tomorrow is Sunday. After spiritual communion, maybe I should ask my friends in Facebook to pray Rosary Live. Maybe 100 show up. And if 100 show up, it's better than me alone praying by myself, right? 100 is better than one. Yeah. And 10,000 show up. And then I was praying a rosary with 10,000 people. I was very wow. I thought it was going to be just one event. Then I thought, you know what? Let's do it tomorrow, too, Monday. Why not? Another 10,000. And then tomorrow. And then tomorrow. Next thing you know, I'm praying the rosary every day with 13,000 people from all over the world, asking God for the end of the pandemic, asking God for world peace and for the unity of families. And next thing you know, I saw May 13, 10 days away from me. Our Lady of Fatima, we need to do something big there. She's the one who's telling us to pray the rosary every day. So I said, all of a sudden, I was live on Facebook, and I said, hey, I have a new challenge, 50,000 rosaries, 50,000 people praying the rosary, May 13. Let's do it. It's going to be very hard because it's only 10 days, no promotion, no interviews, no nothing. But if you share this video, maybe we can achieve the goal. May 13 comes. I'm very nervous. I'm on Facebook, live. I started praying the rosary. On the before I started praying the rosary, minute number 13, the entire thing shut down. Facebook shut down. I see the screen black, suspended. Oh my gosh, what happened? I got very nervous. I had a friend who was helping me with the technology, and then he connected again, and then shut down again for the second time. And I was, you know what? I'm gonna forget about the technology. I'm just gonna pray. And then this guy who's helping me, he sees me very nervous, and he said, 100,000. The first 3 minutes, the first 5 minutes, 100,000. And I realized, hold on a second. I thought we were going to get to 30,000, men of little faith, men of little faith, 30,000, because I calculated that. Uh-huh. Next thing you know, we had 100,000. And that's when I broke down a little bit, because I imagine in my head, like a big stadium of soccer stadium full of people, with people holding a rosary in their hands, praying to God, praying to our Blessed Mother for her protection and intercession. And I thought, wow, that would be amazing. Here we have 100,000. And then he said, no, only on Facebook, YouTube, you have 40,000. And then on Instagram, and then on Twitter. Next thing you know, we had more than 200,000 people praying a rosary. Well, 200,000 device. I don't know what's the projection. Right. Sometimes there's 2 people, or maybe 4, maybe 1, but I don't know, whatever. We know one thing. It was more than 200,000 people praying a rosary at one time from all over the world. And even though the internet was shut down 4 times because it was too many rosaries for internet, they couldn't handle it. So the next day I was so happy that I said, hey, 1 million. Is what? 1 million rosaries for May 31st is the end of May. Let's put una corona, like a crown of roses, to our Blessed Mother for this wonderful month. And it's Pentecost day. Mm-hmm. So what better way to celebrate this wonderful beginning of the church 2,000 years ago than to have 1 million people from all over the world praying the rosary with Our Lady Guadalupe, asking God for the end of the pandemic, asking God for world peace and for unity of families, for our own personal intentions, and let's do it. And but I cannot do it alone. So put in the comments here green light, and if you agree, and everybody yes, let's do it. This was just 2 weeks ago, and now it's happening on May 31st at 1 p.m. Mexico City time. And let me tell you something. I share with you about my movies, and I share with you about Bella and Little Boy. And the one thing that I feel more proud of, everything that I have done in my life, and the one thing that I know that I will remember when I'm in my deathbed, it's these moments of praying the rosary in my social media with thousands of people all over the world. And it's the best part of after the sacraments, is the best part of my day, is the best part of the day for me. And to be just there with Our Lady Guadalupe, holding a rosary, asking God to help us to become, the children that He wants us to be, and to guide us in whatever time we have left, so we can achieve that sanctity that is only possible to achieve it through a sacramental life and by the grace of God, of course, and through a life of prayer and a life of service. And that's what we're doing here, my friend, my brother.
This is almost like Pauline Jericho, the Venerable Pauline Jericho. I don't know if you've heard of her. She was in France during Jean Vianney's time. She was the one that got healed by the intercession of Philomena, that got Philomena canonized, basically, just off her. She was a Walking Dead lady. And she came out and started doing this thing called the Universal Rosary. And she would ask a friend to say a decade. It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme. You ask 5 people, say a decade, and then they go ask 5 people to say a decade, and they go ask 5 people to say a decade. And all of a sudden you got all this huge group saying rosaries all over the place together, not knowing who's all in this whole group. So kind of the same way, except on the internet.
It was the social media at that time, right?
No. Social media then was just talking to each other.
I know what I'm saying. It was the social media of that time, you know.
Yeah.
And now we're doing the same thing. We're just using the technology of today. I'm sure 100 years from now is going to be something else where it will multiply million times more than what we're doing right now. But this is what we have, and we need to use it for the glory of God, you know. And you know, I saw videos on YouTube and here, and people were doing exercise, and it's good. We have to work out, you know. Other people were cooking, you know, in the pandemic, teaching other people how to cook. I think it's great too, you know. I like to cook, and I like food. I'm from Mexico, you know. I enjoy food, good food, and healthy food, especially. Other people were singing. I like to sing. I participated in 2 songs, and I think it's great too. Mm-hmm. But prayer is the best time invested. It's not a waste. It's not a waste of time like how so many people think. It's the best time you can spend. I mean, it's what's better than to be with God and to invite other people to do the same. It's amazing, you know. So I'm just very grateful for this gift that I got, because I didn't even plan it. I didn't thought about it. It was just live Instagram, and I said, "Hey, let's pray rosary tomorrow." And then I thought, well, wow, okay, let's pray rosary tomorrow. Just one day, maybe one day, I don't know. Let's see what happened. The next thing you know, now I'm here talking to you about 1 million rosaries challenge.
Well, you're talking to me because of one of your movies. That's what started this channel, basically. We got like 146,000 subscribers now. You know, what was it 50 million views of sermons? And it all started because of the movie Greater Glory, to help promote that movie. And from that one video went to another video, led to 4,000 more videos of this. So Another way you've reached out is just saying yes to that thing and getting that thing off the ground. We got this channel.
That's amazing, man. I mean, it's a family. We're a family. It's a community. You know, God used each one of us to complement each other, to inspire, you know, others to keep working and to keep using our talents to glorify God. And I don't know if you know, but Anacleto González Flores, Beato Anacleto González Flores, now in Mexico, is el patrón de los laicos. He's the patron of laicos in English, I think is laity. Mm-hmm. Yes, the patron of laities. Amazing, huh?
Yeah, I have his PDFs that Father Heenan sent me. We're going to try to translate them in English. And I got all the PDFs in Spanish right now. We're going to try to publish them somehow. His writings are fantastic. I don't know if you've read them before.
Yeah, well, to prepare for my role, I was always joking, like, because, you know, as an actor, you always give life to the character you're playing.
Yeah.
And here I'm preparing, you know, for my role to play, even though it was a small part in the big movie, but it was like, hey, one scene is important, even if it's just one scene, just show who Anacleto was, you know. And then I thought, I was in an interview, and they told me, so how do you feel, Eduardo, to give life to Anacleto González Flores? And I before I answer, I said, you know what? Actually, it's the opposite. It's why? Because he's more alive than me. He's giving me life to me. You know, it's the opposite. You know, because normally you give life to the character, but here I feel like he was giving me life to me in that movie, and he's just such an amazing role model for the world, but especially for people in Mexico, to see how he defended his faith with all his heart and with his blood, in a peaceful way, you know, because he rejected always the possibility of fighting back, you know, like others were doing it at that time. And he just, no, you know, I refused. Let's just choose the, peaceful path. And he was not afraid. He was just share his blood and show us a lot, you know, by his testimony and his leading example. It's amazing, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I can't imagine a mindset of somebody like him or all those guys that in that area and during that time period. I just hope that I can be, you know, a fifth of what those guys were.
But you know, the thing is, sometimes we forget about these things because of their bravery and because of what they did in the 1920s. I can go to mass today. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we just feel like we take it for granted, you know. It's like, oh, well, we'll wake up, okay, let's go to mass, and we forget about it. Sometimes we know, but it's always good to remember, you know. the certain freedom that we still have today. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but at least we can still go to mass, pray, and religious liberty is still, in some places. Some others are not that good, but still, we no one is killing you like it was back in the days. Now they kill you in a different way. They kill your soul by our culture. We're facing this culture of death every day, and the war now is different, but it's as scary as it was before, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, the what they did, sharing their blood for the love of Christ, allow us to enjoy our faith, and that's why we can never take it for granted, and we should always honor them and ask them to intercede for us, and we just need to continue, my friend, my brother, continue asking God to help us to become the sons He wants us to be.
How is the how would you say the atmosphere in Mexico in terms of the Catholic sense of the regular people? Is it strong, kind of faded? I know in Houston there was a video of Muslims going into the Spanish-speaking parishes to pull the Catholics out to turn them to Islam. Have you heard of any of that in that area? I've heard around the border.
Not that I know in Mexico, at least not that I know. Forgive me if something's going on and I don't know, but so far, I think this horrible pandemic right now, somehow God allows everything to happen for the good of those who love Him. And I think right now, I think it's a worldwide, but I can speak for Mexico because I talk to my friends and I see what's going on here. There is a lot of transformation. Like literally this tragedy and this darkness, somehow I see like three groups. The one group is those who before the pandemic were already praying and practicing Catholics, and that group is just perseverance, right? Perseverance, learning more, taking their faith even more deeper and deeper and deeper, because it's never enough. You never stop learning, right? But at least they're there. Then you have a second group who was those who were sleeping, seduced by the world, not bad intentions, but it's just they were who they were, by children of the world, right? But they were sleeping. Somehow the pandemic waked them up. And now they have to choose. What group do you want to belong? The first or the third? You cannot remain in the same anymore because now you're awake. When you're sleeping, you don't know. But when the boss knocks the door, like with how he did it with this pandemic, he did the third group is those who doesn't care about truth. They don't care about God. They can be in front of they can be facing the pandemic. They don't care. So as I said, the first persevere. We need to persevere. Second, because if you become prideful, then you can lose the gift of faith, the gift of faith as well, right? We know faith is a gift. Second, they are awake now. Are you going to be in the one or in the I don't care about God, I don't care about prayer, And what do we do with the third group? There are families too. They're brothers or sisters, right? They're created in the image of likeness of God as well. And but they rejected God. At least now, my prayer is that one day, just like the thief in the cross, before they die, that they will repent and accept God, because we believe in a God who is merciful and He forgives every single time. And I just when I see someone even criticizing, in comments, or God doesn't exist, or they start saying really bad stuff, it's very easy to judge them, even internally, because you love God so much that of course hurts you that when someone is insulting who you love, right? It's normal. And but at the end of the day, we should be grateful, because again, faith is a gift. I don't know how I would react if I would be in their shoes, because I don't know their stories, what happened to them. So for me, it's an opportunity to pray, to thank God for the gift of faith, and to ask God to share that gift to those brothers and sisters who right now they don't have it. So at the end of the day, if we all see each other as one family, all we need to do is just, Lord, forgive me for my sins. Thank you for the gift of faith, and pray for each other. And when you have those three, I think life, it's going to be more interesting, in my opinion.
Amen to that. So for the Million Rosary Project, how do we find you?
It's going to be through my social media, Facebook, Eduardo Verástegui. Make sure that is the official page, because there's a lot of others who are not mine, but they use pictures of me and they're fake. But so make sure that is La Palomita Azul, the blue. And then on YouTube, Eduardo Verástegui as well, on my official YouTube channel. And then on Instagram and Eduardo Verástegui as well. Only Twitter is Verástegui, at Verástegui. So on my 4 social media, we're going to be live at the same time at 1 p.m. Mexico City time, May 31st. I invite you to pray the Rosary with all of us. If you see this video, share this video with all your friends. Invite them to pray the Rosary. Even those who doesn't pray the Rosary, invite them, because there is many people who are going to be praying the Rosary for the first time that day. Can you imagine? My first time that I prayed the Rosary was alone next to my bed with a little book, learning how to pray the Rosary. I was not alone, of course. God is with you, and our Blessed Mother. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understood.
But can you imagine to be your first Rosary ever with hopefully, God willing, 1 million people? I think it's going to be very special. So don't be afraid to invite people, because sometimes you want to live your faith. I don't want to invite them. I want to respect them. Just invite them. I mean, what's worst case scenario? They're going to say no.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's good. This is the time actually to do it, because this is the time where people are more sensitive. Mm-hmm. This is the time where people are more open. If we wouldn't do it now, when? Yeah, this is the time.
When we streamed the live masses during Passion Week, we had 100,000 people in the 3 days watch.
Can you imagine? Because this is the time where you throw the net, and then you start So I invite you, and I invite you to invite everyone, your friends, your family members, to pray the Rosary every day, of course. But this is like Mother's Day. We celebrate our mothers every day, of course. But there's one day that is good to do something big, right? Do we pray the Rosary only May 31st, 1 million? And that's it? Of course not. We know that. You know this too. We should do it every day for the rest of our lives. We will need it. But if we do 1 million rosaries all together, there is power there, especially when you ask for something specific. Mm-hmm. Dear God, we beg you, 1 million people, imagine, for the end of this pandemic, for the world peace that comes from you, of course, and for the unity of the families, because at the end of the day, families right now are broken in pieces all over the world. We need to make sure that, whatever we can. And I think to pray a rosary for the unity of the family with 1 million people at the same time, I think is power there. It's power there. And I think it's going to be a lot of blessings for everyone. And I'm very excited for this day.
That's awesome. I appreciate you even coming up with the idea.
It was not my idea, my friend. You know that it was literally because I was here alone, just trying to. I was asking God every day, help me to do something else. Help me to use this time in a powerful way to do something, because I feel like my wings are caught. I feel like what can I do from here, right? And it was like in this live video when out of nowhere, boom. Well, I know from where, but it was like, hey, you want to pray a rosary tomorrow? And it was God's idea. And I'm glad that I said yes, because sometimes God asks you to do something and we look the other way around, well, tomorrow. I always ask God, please help me to say yes when you ask me for something, because my nature, it's always, I'm a rebel, and I pray so I can kill my ego. So I can do God's will. At the end of the day, a lot of people ask me, well, what's the meaning of prayer? Can you explain to me what prayer does? Well, there's a lot of answers, but just to give you one quick one, and which is very simple. I pray to kill my ego so I can do God's will.
No, yeah, that's a hard one to kill too, for all of us.
It's our worst enemy.
Yeah.
You know, and the only day is always there, trying to show, you know, trying to interfere, trying to distract you from doing God's will. And so when you pray, you come down, especially the Rosary, because you know you're involving your hands, you're involved your voice, your mind, meditating on the life of our Lord Jesus Christ, your heart, because you put your heart in what you're doing, your soul. I mean, everything. That's why it's so hard in the beginning, because to do everything at the same time when our minds are like all over the place, it's like an amazing therapy tool to like, hey, you know,
focus,
order, focus. So it's amazing because, and at the same time, it has this beautiful rhythm, you know. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén. Dios te salve María. So the brain rests. And when the brain rests, while you're repeating these beautiful prayers that are already full of so many blessings, because the Our Father is the Christian prayer dictated by our own Lord Jesus Christ, telling the disciples how to pray. So right there, can you imagine when you repeat those words with your heart? It's power. The Hail Mary, composed by God the Father. You know, God the Father through Gabriel. You know, first part, the second part, God the Holy Spirit. You know, Elizabeth, inspired by the Holy Spirit, said, "Blessed are thou." You know, bendita eres entre todas las mujeres. So all that, the brain opens, graces and blessings are coming. You come down. I mean, it's a powerful moment of the day, and we need to do it every day.
I don't know if you can see right over my shoulder. There's a photo. It's in Italy. It's an altarpiece of Our Lady dropping bombs on the Turks. They're beads,
Of course.
rosary beads on the Turkish ships. Well,
I always say it's like King David, no, with 5 stones.
Yeah.
The 5 mysteries, right?
Yeah.
There you have the stones here. Each mystery represent one stone, and how he killed Goliath. And we know that he didn't kill Goliath because he was so strong and because this stone was like, he killed Goliath because he put his faith in God. You know, but he used natural means. Right? So same thing here. We have a different Goliaths in our times. You know, the Goliath of the COVID-19 and other ones. You know, well, we have the weapon here, and we have the stones. So all we need to do is, this is the natural means. We put our faith in God. Boom.
And
we know the answer.
The only bad rosary is one not said.
Exactly.
Well, I'll have all the links underneath so that people can click on and follow you on the Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. So underneath in the show notes section will be all the social media links. You want me to throw that one link you brought up with the helping on the hunger? I'll throw that underneath too. I can't remember the name of the group that you started out with that you talked about buying the food for.
With Caritas.
Caritas.
Yeah, Caritas in Mexico.
Do they have a link that we could put in there too?
I'll send it to you, and thank you so much, because they're doing an unbelievable work through so many voluntaries that are bringing the necessary and medical supplies and food to thousands of families. But of course, it's never enough. We need to do more. So thank you for your generosity of putting this link. And for those who wants to know more about how you can help to donate food for families who are in need, who lost everything, who they don't have a job and they don't have anything, and they have to stay home. And can you imagine? It's like, I mean, am I going to die of COVID-19 or am I going to die of hunger? I mean, it's just, the remedy cannot be worse than the illness, right?
Right.
So pray for each other, and we'll see you on May 31st.
Sounds good.